Hello, good morning. Our first issue is blocking of Twitter account. Recently, Twitter has blocked IT minister's account for an hour and it has been severely criticized. Under IT Rules 2021, before blocking any account on any grounds, he or she should be given the prior notice of action. But in this case, Twitter has not issued any prior notice and this is mandatory under IT Rules 2021. It has not given any prior notice. It said there is copyright violation with regard to Digital Millennium Copyrights Act. It is USA's law. As Twitter is based in USA, it said we acted based on the complaint under this particular act. But it has been criticized that it is politicizing because recently, if we observed, Twitter has not complied with the IT rules and an FIR was filed against Twitter. So, in this context, is it politicizing? That's the question now. Social media platforms, they promote freedom of speech, they provide the democratic rights, but then if they take sides, if they politicize, if they're not following the sovereign rules, it is going to create problems. Yes or no? Next issue. Pakistan was again placed in the grey list, FATF's grey list. In the last 2 years, many a times, FATF was placed in the grey list. Grey list means increased monitoring list. Financial Action Task Force, this is an intergovernmental organization. This particular organization has 37 member countries and 2 regional groups. Its aim is to maintain the integrity of the financial system, safety and integrity of the financial system. Against Pakistan, there are many complaints saying that it is funding the terror groups. It is allowing the terror groups to have free access to funding, money laundering, like that. There are many complaints. Acting against those complaints, FATF has placed Pakistan in the grey list. And they have given certain targets. If you complete these targets, if you do this, we will move you out of grey list. Otherwise, we will place you in the blacklist. If it is placed in the blacklist, it cannot receive the foreign funding. So already Pakistan is facing BOP crisis. In this present context, it cannot face these severe restrictions. That's why Pakistan started taking measures, whatever list of measures that the FATF has given, it started implementing them, though nominally, but it started implementing them. And again now, FATF has made it to remain in the grey list, and it said to follow 6 more targets. In this context, Pakistan has criticized India, saying that India is politicizing this issue. India is using it for its own benefit. FATF is a technical body, but India is using it for a political benefit. That's the issue. Next issue is India's Indigenous aircraft carrier. Recently, our defense minister visited 2 places, one Karwar, 2 Kochi. In Cochin shipyard, INS Vikrant, India's first aircraft carrier, indigenously built aircraft carrier, this has been built there. By next year, that is 2022, we are going to formally launch this INS Vikrant. One more area that our defense minister visited is Karwar. Karwar is a place in Karnataka. INS Kadamba is the naval station that is being built over there under Project Seabird. Very important. Project Seabird. Once it is fully built, it is going to be largest naval base in Asia. These two and other measures taken by Indian Navy are in line with Sagar ideology, Sagar focus. What is Sagar? Security and growth for all in the region. This is the maritime policy. It promotes the cooperation among the maritime countries, especially in the Indian Ocean region. Next issue is DRDO Pinaka's rocket. DRDO recently tested enhanced Pinaka rocket. Pinaka is a multi-barrel rocket launcher. That means it can launch multiple rockets at a time. This is indigenously developed by DRDO. It's a 122 mm caliber rocket. It's indigenously developed and its target range, enhanced Pinaka versions, target range is around 45 kilometers. It has been tested from Chandipur test range in Odisha. Next issue is Lhasa-Nyingchi rail. Recently, China has launched first bullet train in Tibet. It links Lhasa, that is Tibet's capital with the Nyingchi. It's a town near Arunachal Pradesh. This particular route provides fast-track delivery route for strategic supplies in case of any conflict in the border region. Last month, China has launched one more strategic infrastructural project in the southern Tibet region, especially near Arunachal Pradesh border. What is it? Highway through Grand Canyon of Yarlung Zangbo River. Yarlung Zangbo is the name of Brahmaputra in Tibet. Yarlung Zangbo. On it, a highway has been built and it was launched last month. These are strategic projects. China is building them, and China's infrastructural development in the border regions is increasing. In response, India is also enhancing increasing the infrastructural projects in the border area. That's strategically important. That's why both countries are competing in that area. Next, let us understand the editorials. We have 3 editorials only. First one is Restoration of Statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. Recently, 14 leaders from Jammu and Kashmir met Prime Minister on the invitation of central government. All these major parties has asked for restoration of statehood. And with regard to Article 370 restoration, many didn't speak because it is under Supreme Court's review. And government also agreed for restoration of statehood. But they said, first let us complete the delimitation process and the elections, and then we will think of statehood. But it is a first step towards the political engagement. There are domestic factors, global factors which are influencing for this particular kind of political outreach, but it's a good one to establish democratic governance in that area. Next issue is also related to Jammu and Kashmir, the idea of Naya Jammu and Kashmir, new Jammu and Kashmir. Our Prime Minister in this particular meeting has spoken about progressive and democratic Jammu and Kashmir. In this context, it can be seen that all these political parties, they have minimal consensus. That means at least in some areas, all the parties agree. And domestic promises of new investments, good governance, they still remain as promise in Jammu and Kashmir. In this context, both the regional parties and the central government, they have their role and responsibility in promoting democratic governance. That's the only way forward, because alienation of people, that would cause more problem. That's against the democratic principles. So in this context, encouraging transparency in the governance and promoting good governance, these things should be taken care of. Next issue is COVID-19 and pregnant women and children, impact on pregnant women and children. Many reports have suggested that maternal mortality in the COVID positivity women increased, and neonatal mortalities among the children who suffered from COVID-19 is high. In this context, postponement of pregnancy, in this regard, awareness need to be generated among the families. Second one, better infrastructural facilities, human resources to suit to the needs of pregnant women. Let's say diagnostic tools, test kits, etc. These needs to be promoted, because population is the demography. Demographic dividend is the major asset of India. In this context, this mortality, maternal mortality and neonatal mortality, this is against the rights of the citizens, against the demographic dividend. That's why these things need to be focused. Thank you very much. All the very best.